Whether you're transitioning to raw veganism or you're already quite deep in your health and healing journey, there are a couple of habits that can throw us off balance and prevent us from thriving and drain us of our energy. So that's why in today's video, I'm sharing with you the 3 do's and don'ts of raw vegan living. And it's just a gentle reminder to keep you inspired and to keep you energized on your journey. And if you stay to the very end, I'm going to share with you my secret that has completely transformed my relationship with food. Let's get into it. Welcome guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Akuj and we are here on the Raw Food Glow, where I teach you how to glow and thrive on your raw vegan journey. Now, I have been a raw vegan now for 21 months, coming up to 2 years very, very soon. And it has completely transformed my life, and there's no way I can go back to who I was and what I was doing before. I make these videos for you guys, whether you're high raw, whether you're fully raw, whether you're low raw, whether you're partially raw, occasionally raw. These videos are here to help you stay inspired and connect with the raw living foods in a very deep and spiritual way. But this video is about the do's and don'ts. So let's get our do's and don'ts on. So diving straight in, the first don't is don't ignore how you feel. So if you remember the time when you were really heavy in your processed foods, your junk foods, your high sugar, high fat foods, these foods were not made to allow you to tap into who you are and to be aware of what's going on in your body. If you think about the crunch and the creaminess, these are made for indulgence. These are made as a distraction. The high salt, the high fat, the high sugar gives you a hit, a dopamine hit. It gives you a sugar rush. And when you get that crash, when the sugar drops, you feel hungry again. Throughout your day, you look for the next hit. When am I going to get the next salt rush, sugar rush, fat rush? Instead of being present with your food, these foods taught us to avoid our emotions, to avoid the experience of really eating and being present with our food. Your inner guidance systems are there to keep you on track, to help you in this life, to help you navigate and thrive. And so when you really give yourself a chance to feel the emotions, feel the experience of eating, you get to honor that inner guidance system. On other diets, you never ask yourself, am I thirsty? Do I need hydration? A lot of people just grab the nearest soft drink, the Coke or the 7-Up, the Sprite, and they just chug it down. But on this lifestyle, it's really important to ask yourself, am I hydrated? Do I feel energized? How did that meal make me feel? Do I feel sluggish? Do I feel heavy? Do I feel alive? Do I feel energized? These are important questions that you must face when eating on a raw vegan lifestyle. And once you're aware of how the food makes you feel, or how anything makes you feel, you now have the control to change that. I'll give you an example. In my case, when I eat meals that look like traditional cooked meals, for example, you've seen me make beetroot burgers. When I eat these meals, because they contain more salt, they contain more fat, I always feel heavier afterwards. That's why I don't have them so often. I might have them once a month. And I also notice that the next day I have more water retention. I feel heavier. I actually gain a couple of pounds on the scale. And this is because of the higher salt and the higher fat. And because I know that, now I'm in control. I don't have to have those foods every single day because they don't make me feel good and they don't make me look my best the next day. So I limit them. And that's a simple choice that I've made to take back control over my life. But when you continue to look the other way as you eat, look the other way as your body is telling you that I'm hungry or I'm not hungry, I'm thirsty, I'm dehydrated, I'm tired. When you look the other way, when your body is speaking to you, when your body is calling out to you, you put off your alignment. You put off your feeling good. You put off all the good things that are meant for you. Second don't is don't compare your journey to others. Now this is so easy to do, you know. We live in a world where we are overstimulated with images of how things should be, things that we should have, things that we're meant to be doing already. And so naturally, we're geared towards comparisons. We're geared towards looking outside the window and assuming that that is better than what's in our own home. And in many areas of our lives, we're exposed to excessive levels of competition and comparison. And especially on social media, we're exposed to a lot more competition, a lot more need to compare ourselves, which also comes with a lot of judgment. And so when we're not online, These same voices of judgment, competition follow us into our own lives when we're away from social media. But what you have to remember is that everybody is different. Every being is different. Every metabolism is different. Every taste is different. Every preference is different. So you too have a right to be different. When you stop comparing your journey to others, you make space for your path. You make space for the road ahead to unravel and guide you forward. You stop looking this way and you stop looking this way, but you look straight ahead. You focus on your own journey and you get to see the unfoldment of what's ahead. So in terms of your health journey and in terms of your raw vegan journey, you know that some people are fruitarian. That's completely okay. That works for them. Some people are high raw. That works for them. Some people are vegetarian. That works completely in alignment with who they are. Some people are vegan. Some people are cooked vegan. It doesn't matter. The most important voice is your own. So stop comparing yourself to others and allow your journey to unfold and reveal itself. When I started my own vegan journey, I was smashing in those bananas. I would have like 2 banana smoothies every day, eating up to 8 bananas every single day. And this is okay for some people, but what I thought that was the way it was supposed to be for all vegans. And so what happened was I wasn't even active at the time, and I was just eating and eating and eating all these bananas. And naturally, I gained weight. Naturally, I puffed up. Naturally, I wasn't feeling good. I was feeling quite heavy and sluggish because there wasn't any activity going on. I wasn't living an active lifestyle. I wasn't training my body. I wasn't pushing my body. And why did this happen? Because I was watching what other people were doing. I wasn't tuning into what felt good with me. The standards that I was adhering to weren't set by me. That was set by somebody else. And therefore, I couldn't fit into their box. It just didn't work because their mold, their parameters are for their own lives, not mine. See? And so I just wasted time eating bananas, although they were good bananas, but I just wasted my time eating a bunch of bananas, thinking that I had to be like them. And it didn't work. Okay, and leading on to my next point is don't judge yourself. Now, judgment, shame are of the lowest vibrations that you could possibly emit. And what happens in these states of vibration? Total destruction. Judgment creates so much inner instability, and that instability is only reflected in the outside world. You're pushed out of alignment. You're pushed so far away from positivity, and you repel all things joyful. And the moment you start judging yourself is the moment you cut off your life force energy. And your life force energy is needed for you to find abundance and alignment. On the vibration of shame, guilt, judgment, you're disconnected from the downloads that are meant to be coming to you to help you on your journey. You're disconnected from inspiration, you're disconnected from motivation, because all the intention is going inwards towards blame rather than outwards and expansive. I'll give you an example. I used to feel guilty if I wasn't having 30 different fruits and vegetables in one sitting in one salad bowl. When I first started my raw vegan journey, I used to have massive bowls of salad every single day, and my stomach could handle it. I've got a big stomach, what can I say? But I was wasting my energy trying to get as many vegetables and as much variety into one bowl. And over the last months, I've reduced that, especially after my cleanses, after my juice cleanse, after my fruit fast. I got a lot of clarity about which way I should be going on my journey. Maybe now I have 5 ingredients, sometimes 4. I put them together with my dressing and that's enough. But before, it wasn't enough. It had to be closer to 25, 30 in one sitting. And again, I was in the state of proving that I'm doing enough, proving that I'm on the right track. But when you surrender and let go of the judgment, the voices that are coming from outside, and you just tune into that one simple voice inside, you get to find clarity and you get to find peace and joy, which is exactly what we want. And now, the glow zone. So I created the Glow Zone last month to create a healthy and holistic environment and community support group. It's for you to heal and thrive in a safe space with like-minded people who are really serious about their health and healing journey. Every month you get 5 new recipes from me, plus weekly live coaching and a Q&A session, as well as weekly challenges to keep you on track and motivated with your goals. So if you feel like you could benefit from such a high vibe group, be sure to sign up to the Glow Zone today. The link is in the description box. Let's get back into this video. So now the do's, now the fun things, now the positive things, the do's. The first do is sprout and soak. Whoa, is how I'm going to begin. Did you know that sprouting and soaking only magnify the potential that's within that plant? Sprouting and soaking unlock enzymes, they improve digestibility, they increase fiber quantities, and they also increase the amount of nutrients available. For example, in my last video that I made, which was on how to make mashi, which is a Sudanese stuffed pepper dish, I used wild black rice. Wild black rice is so nutritious when soaked, so nutritious when sprouted. It doesn't compare to white rice or even cooked wild black rice. Magnesium went up. Vitamin B went up, vitamin A went up, which shows up in the body. It shows up on the skin. It shows up in how much energy you feel. It shows up in how good you feel about yourself and what you're eating. So always sprout. It's always recommended that you soak your nuts overnight or for a couple of hours before using them. They change the texture of your food, which makes it creamier when blended or more easily digestible when blended as well. Number 2, embrace variety. We see color, as humans, we see color for a reason. We're meant to be eating fruit and vegetables in their colorful form. And the more variety you bring, the more nutrients you're able to absorb and intake on your diet. And each nutrient, each color relates to a different health benefit. For example, skin or energy or a certain mineral or vitamin. And things are meant to be paired together or come together in groups. For example, when we look at the case of iron, a lot of people in the world have an iron deficiency. And so what often happens is a doctor recommends red meat or animal products. And this is because there are 2 types of iron. There's heme iron and there's non-heme iron. Heme iron comes from the animals. And so this is more easily absorbed. So that's why the doctor will often recommend animal products. However, we also have non-heme iron coming from plants. And non-heme iron, plant-based iron, isn't as easily absorbable as heme iron coming from animals. However, nature works in abundant ways. When you pair non-heme iron, plant iron, with vitamin C, it becomes easily absorbable, which means that there's a collaboration going on. There's a harmony going on inside the body when you pair, when you mix and match different fruits and vegetables. And as I mentioned, the colors are there to guide you. When we look at orange and yellows and reds, these are foods that are generally high in vitamin A and vitamin C. Examples of high vitamin A and C would be oranges, citrus fruits in general, mangoes, papayas, strawberries, bell peppers. And if you think about your purples and your blues, like eggplants, or we call them aubergines here, your berries, blackberries, blueberries, cherries, these are rich in antioxidants. And then we have other nutrients like calcium and iron, which are found in pumpkin seeds, in spinach, dark green leafy vegetables like rocket and kale and collard greens and sprouted lentils, sprouted mung beans, lots of different sprouts. So when you mix them all together, you get everything that you need perfectly on your raw vegan diet. And the final do is have fun. Now, the world can be heavy at times. The world can be scary at times. The world can be full of fear. But that doesn't mean that your health has to be as well. What if you approach your way of eating? What if you approached your raw vegan lifestyle with lightness and with play, without the judgment, without the criticism, but just enjoyment and enthusiasm? What meals can you discover and create from this vibration? How can you move your body from this vibration? Who do you get to meet? What inspiration do you get to receive from this vibration of play and lightness? How can you teach yourself to make things fun? How can you let it bleed into other areas of your life? Honestly, just because we're adults doesn't mean that we have to act like it all the time. We have our inner child who loves to play, who loves to have fun. So make your journey fun. Make it enjoyable. There are no limits. There are literally no limits as to what you can do and what you can experience on this raw vegan lifestyle. So have fun. So the world is already stressful, and stress is one of the leading causes of death around the world. But what's the opposite of stress? Fun. So when you make your raw vegan journey fun, you push yourself away from stress, or you shield yourself, in fact, from stress. And that alone is creating a protective layer, a lot of healing, a lot of alignment on the inside. If we look to nature, nobody's serious. No trees worried about where the water's going to come from, when the fruits are going to blossom. Nobody's doing that out in nature. Nothing is doing that out in nature. When you just surrender to what is, you get to have fun. You get to call in more fun, and you get to feel more joy. And I think that is what a lot of people are missing. Joy. Be led by your joy. Be led by your curiosity. Be led by fun. So if you made it this far, I salute you. The secret. And I got this secret a couple of months ago in the summer. I was reading about Thich Nhat Hanh, who is a Zen Buddhist master. And one of his books mentioned how distracted we are in this world. And I can admit to being distracted and not being present in the moment. But what he specifically spoke about that really resonated with me was just appreciating your food and not listening to anything, not watching anything, not tuning in to anything other than what you're eating. And before, a couple of years ago, I tried to do this. I tried to give myself half an hour to properly chew and digest my food. But then, old habits die hard, and I went back to the old ways of rushing my food. And I could see that everywhere in my life. I was rushing through things. I was thinking about the next moment as opposed to what was going on here. And that attitude prevents us from really living in our bodies, from really learning who we are and feeling our way through life, because we are feeling creatures. We feel a lot, and we're supposed to feel in order to guide us forward. But everything happens right now. Nothing's happening in the past. Nothing's happening in the future. Everything is happening now. So by giving myself no distractions while eating, and by opting to mostly eat outside in the sunshine, I was completely present. I'm embracing nature. I'm embracing calm. I offer myself peace, and I'm getting used to peace and tranquility. And that's really good for our nervous system, because you cannot manifest. You cannot live a life of alignment. You cannot live a life of joy if you're not in your body, if you're not here in the present moment, because joy can only occur now. It doesn't occur in the future. It doesn't occur, or it didn't occur yesterday. It only occurs in the moment in which we're living, and we are only living now. And this is related to something that I spoke about in one of my last videos, where we look for happiness outside of ourselves, but outside of ourselves is never now. If we're waiting for the job, if we're waiting for that relationship, if we're waiting for good news, we're no longer with our bodies here now in the present. So we stay rooted in our bodies. We stay grounded in the present moment. So for me, it starts with silence around my food, no distractions, and allowing the goodness of God to nourish my body and to be one with my food. And I could go on forever, but the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. So you're teaching yourself that actually goodness, presence is my normal state, and I deserve to see it in other areas of my life as well. But that, fine friends, brings me to the end of this video. I'll put links to some of the books that I read by Thich Nhat Hanh in the description box, as well as the links to the Glow Zone as well. Thank you guys for watching this video. Thank you for coming this far. Thank you for leaving a comment. And thank you for all the support that you do for my channel, The Raw Food Glow. If you want more inspiration, I recommend this video here, What I Learned After Eating Fruits for Only 7 Days. And here I talk about the downloads, the alignment, the spiritual alignment, all the mental clarity that came with giving my body a reset and the chance to heal. But until the next video, guys, stay fine, stay fierce, and stay fruitful. Ciao.